Okay, so essentially, when it comes to working with clients, we understand the power of unconscious moments. So let's throw you right in the deep end. We understand that working with clients, we are always on the hunt for unconscious moments because we know unconscious moments give us clues about what's going on inside of our client's mind. They give us clues about if our client's in trance. They give us clues if our client is, the therapy that we've provided for them is correct. So the question we want to answer today, just with this training program, is how can you use your own unconscious moments to find your own unconscious blocks? Now, I know that you're an avid goal setter, and for anyone listening to this program, the goals that you are creating, the goals that you're setting, you should come to a realization that it's simple as this, that some goals are easy to achieve and some are not. So our goal with using a pendulum is to ratify the unconscious moments we have and essentially talk to our own mind and read our own mind and find out what is going on. The goal with the pendulum also, and with this training program, is to align up what our unconscious mind wants in regards to our goals and what our conscious mind wants in regards to our goals. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have spent the last couple of years wanting to be rich, financially wealthy. You might find you get a little bit of money and then it goes away. You might get some opportunities, but they don't pan out. You might say that you self-sabotage yourself because you're scared of success, or there could be many different ways that you may look at your financial wealth or the lack of. So what this is explaining to us is that no matter if you want something consciously, no matter how much you want that money, no matter how much you want that wealth, if your unconscious mind deems you being rich as a safety issue, which we'll talk about soon, it will always negate what you want consciously. The same thing with your relationships, same thing with your love life, your experience with your family, your destiny, your career, your business, anything that's important to you will either have the unconscious mind, because it always has the last say in the matter, will have your unconscious mind agreeing or disagreeing with you. So our goal with the pendulum, as stated before, is to find out if our unconscious mind agrees with us or disagrees with us. And if it disagrees with us, we can start to essentially do therapy on ourselves using a pendulum. Sound good so far?
Yep.
Excellent. So let me give you a couple of ideas of how not to use a pendulum before we get into the meat, so to speak, of this program. There's a lot of talk, and there's also reports of people using pendulums or dowsing rods, okay, on ghost hunting experiences. Okay, they might also use it to read the future. They might also use it for divination. They might also use it for increasing their luck or getting yes and no's to questions like, will I win the lottery?
Yep.
I'm not convinced either way if it's right or wrong, but what I do suggest is when you're working with your unconscious mind in the context of the pendulum we're using, treat it with respect, but also understand the scope of what your pendulum can give you. Essentially, we're going to use the pendulum or our pendulum as basics for yes and no questions when we ask ourselves certain questions about our experience in life and find out where our blocks are. So there are cases, and you can look these up online, of what are known as cryptic alphabet, where you can actually use a pendulum and it will actually spell words out for you. That's a lot of work, I understand. If you want to investigate that side of things, please go ahead. It's actually quite a lot of fun. But being this is essentially a basic program, we can get a lot done with our own blocks and understanding ourselves and understanding what holds us back by just using yes and no answers using a pendulum. So if you're happy not to ask your unconscious mind to give you an answer if you're going to win the lottery or if you're going to find a husband or if you're going to be able to do this or that. Nothing in line with reading the future, because I would hate for you to get a yes or a no, then live your life and hope and wish and be disappointed at the end. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yes.
Excellent. So I know you've got your pendulum ready, but for people listening at home, I just want to show you how the two options you have with your pendulum. I want to talk to you about how you can make your own pendulum, but also how it can be as simple as jumping onto eBay, typing in pendulum, and buying something.
Yep.
Okay? There's a lot of thought behind a pendulum that has to be magical, that you need to get it prayed over. I've heard of these stories as well. And again, if that's what you decide to do, that's fine as well. A pendulum is basically just something that can swing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could spend as low as $1 on eBay to buy a pendulum, or you might decide to buy something a little bit more intrinsic, a little bit more classy. You might spend $10, $15, $20, $30, $100 to have something, a nice crystal, a nice color, a nice chain. as long as it swings, that's the mechanics of a pendulum, okay? So if you
Yeah.
decide not to buy one, it's as simple as, and this is what I did for many, many years, is I had a piece of string, a normal piece of cotton that I got from a sewing kit, and I cut it at length at about 4 or 5 inches. And then at the bottom, I put a heavy piece of metal. It was actually a lug nut from a bolt that I found. And it was enough to be taut to keep the string tight and enough to be able to swing without me making it swing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it can
Yes.
be as rudimentary as that. Or again, if you do decide to buy one, spend some time doing that if you decide to do that. But just buy something that's got a certain amount of length to the string or the chain and it can swing freely. Okay.
So I got one.
Yes.
I've got one which is a crystal one.
Perfect.
I've got a fancy one.
Excellent. Okay. So like I say, you can go really fancy or you can just go rudimentary. Either way, as long as it swings and you're happy with it, I'm fine with that as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's look at the goal of the pendulum and what we're going to do in this training program, which is entitled Learn How to Read Your Own Unconscious Mind, which is these goals. We're going to find out what your blocks are. And then we're also, while doing that, we're going to try and align what your unconscious mind wants from you and what your conscious mind wants from you. Now, we'll keep this premise simple. If you find you have not achieved your goals, no matter how much work you put into them, no matter how much self-help you look into, no matter how much you do self-hypnosis or meditation, if your unconscious mind does not agree with what you want consciously, it will do everything in its power to avoid your goal because it deems it a safety issue. Now, you might be thinking, well, if I'm rich, that would keep me safer in the world. If I'm healthy and fit, it would be safer than me being overweight. If me having a successful and happy relationship or a career, that would be safer than me being miserable and keeping to myself.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the unconscious thinking, all it takes is one bad experience with either of those categories, and basically any category you deem important in your life, that your unconscious mind can view that as a safety issue. And to avoid you going through the heartache again, the disappointment, the frustration, the anger, and the jealousy, it will say that that experience is a safety issue and I'm going to avoid it at any cost. So let's use your goal for maybe financial wealth. Let's say, as an example, when you were very young, which most of these lessons happen, we call these unconscious safety loops, that when you were very young, you had a bad experience with money. Maybe you got some pocket money and someone stole it from you. Let's say you had a bad experience like that. At the blink of an eye, as quick as lightning, if you will, the unconscious mind, to avoid the disappointment of the situation you went through, can put together a safety lesson to say that every time you have money, there's a chance that someone will steal it from you. Now, there's very common cases of this people talk about when they win the lottery. They find family members they never spoke to, people they didn't think they were friends with, coming into their life and being nice and friendly with them because they want a part of that wealth as well.
Yes.
So going back to the first example, is all it takes is one bad experience to you to feel upset or angry about or frustrated about, that when you grow up, that lesson is no longer needed in that context. So if you find in your 20s, 30s, and 40s you struggle to make money, it could be because of that lesson you learnt when you were younger, that maybe having money, people are going to steal it from you. It could be that maybe when you were really, really young or younger than what you are now, someone accosted you and made sexual advances towards you and you didn't like, and you felt embarrassed, you felt angry, you felt frustrated, or even felt like you're in danger. So in order to avoid that situation of being attracted to the opposite sex again, or the same sex, maybe your unconscious mind puts you on a streak of eating junk food, so you felt bad about yourself, you felt overweight, and you felt disgusted about yourself, so you would stay indoors to avoid ever being in that situation again. So for someone who has weight issues, it's worthwhile looking, especially with what we're going to look at the pendulum, if that or something similar has happened to them, if they find that every time they lose weight, they seem to lose motivation to go back to the gym, they seem to put all the weight back on, they seem to get an unquenched hunger for junk food. This is all the unconscious mind in action, trying to keep you safe and to avoid that very context from happening again. We can also look at broken heart being the same thing. If you've had a broken heart, you might find you struggle to keep a relationship. if you've had a career where you were really, really excited, then you lost your job, and then you found it hard to dedicate your life to finding another career or goal setting because your unconscious mind doesn't want to be disappointed just in case it doesn't work again. These are all contributing factors to the unconscious mind in action, keeping you away from what hurt you in the first place. Does that make lucid sense so far?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Excellent. So we need to take that same unconscious safety loop into the context of using a pendulum. Now, the great thing about the pendulum, well, let's look at clients first. We're working with clients, is we know to read unconscious moments because the unconscious moment is a clear expression of the unconscious mind.
Yeah.
We also, as people, have our own unconscious moments, except sometimes they are very small to see and feel. So what the pendulum does is advance or ratify that unconscious moment, maybe the twitch of the hand because we're going to be holding the pendulum, to give us yes and no answers. So we can start to ask ourselves questions that are directed to our unconscious mind that we know can't speak to us directly unless we're dreaming or in trance, and allow those small unconscious twitches to show themselves in the swinging of a pendulum. Does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, so that's the basics of it. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show you how to hold your pendulum. So if you, obviously we're doing this over Skype and I can't see you and you can't see me. And I think it's better this way because then you can practice without the pressure on you as well. I want you to just grab your pendulum for me. And the best way to hold it is in between your thumb and your forefinger. And just let gravity take over. So maybe hold it at the very top so your fingers are facing down. Or some people might take an underhand hold where the loop of the string or the chain will go out the back of their hand, as long as it's obviously facing down and it's not obstructed or it's going to hit anything. So you might want to just hold it out in front of you, keep your elbow out a little bit, and you should notice that the pendulum will just stop swinging. It'll just be stagnant. Have you got that so far?
Yeah.
Excellent. So I want you to have some fun with this, and this is when it gets a lot of fun. I want you to ask yourself this question. Give me a sign for yes, and just notice what happens to the pendulum.
Give me a sign for yes.
And just let me know when it starts moving.
It goes in a circle.
Excellent. Isn't that cool? Now, what I want you to do to test this, I want you to hold your wrist and hold that hand as tight as possible and notice how it keeps swinging.
Okay.
Notice how you can't stop it?
It's moving. I can't stop it. Yes.
Now look at your hand. Can you even see the unconscious moment? It's impossible to see, isn't it?
My hand is not moving.
Yeah, but the pendulum sure is.
Yeah, it's...
Excellent. Okay, now tell the pendulum to stop.
Oh, I have to say stop.
Yep, tell it to stop.
Stop now. Okay, now you spooked me. It actually stopped.
Yes. That pendulum is a pure expression of your unconscious moment, and what the pendulum does is ratify what your hand is doing that you can't see with the naked eye. So now when you're talking to your pendulum, I want you to treat it with respect, as if you were able to talk directly to your unconscious mind. That is your unconscious mind now.
I've got shivers down my spine. It actually stopped.
Yep, dead stop. Okay?
Dead stop.
So I want you to do it again. But this time I want you to ask it for a sign. Say any words, and the words are irrelevant. There's no magic to the words. Ask it to give you a sign for no.
Give me a sign for no. Okay, it goes up and down.
Excellent. Okay.
And it goes faster.
Yep. So tell it to slow down and watch what happens.
Slow down. Shit, it stopped.
Yep, there we go. Okay.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Right. So pretty cool so far, yeah?
I'm not doing this. Like I swear,
Yes.
I'm not doing this.
Now, it shows you how small the unconscious moments can be in your hand, but how the pendulum ratifies that. So now you can see a clear sign for yes. So when you asked your unconscious mind to give you a sign for yes, and it gave you that sign, does that make you start to think, I wonder what questions I can ask myself? Okay. So what I want to do now is just shake that out a little bit And hopefully you've got a pen and paper there.
Yeah, I do.
Excellent. What we need to do now is that's just essentially testing the pendulum. So if you're getting movement, it means your unconscious mind is listening to you. It's that simple. Okay? But now what we need to do is do what's called setting the pendulum. We need to have 4 different signs in the context of asking questions. So the answers to these questions need to have a separate sign. So as an example, this is just me, not a suggestion for you. A yes answer for me, my pendulum swings anti-clockwise every time. Okay? A no question for me, my pendulum swings clockwise every single time. So that's 2 questions.
Okay.
So that's 2 answers. The other 2 answers I need from my unconscious mind are don't want to answer, that's the safety thing, or rephrase the question because the unconscious mind doesn't understand what you're asking. Okay?
Okay, so rephrase the question.
Yep. So we need a yes, a no, don't want to answer, and rephrase the question.
And why would be they don't want to answer?
Excellent. I was hoping you would ask that. Let's say, for example, you ask your unconscious mind, do you know why I'm not successful in relationships? Okay? And to avoid answering you because it wants to keep you safe, it doesn't want you to get into that information because maybe it's too heavy for you, it's too much, it will say, I don't want to answer that. Now, that's when your investigation happens because you can then start to ask your unconscious mind, tell me why, can we talk about it, I need to know, and that's where the investigation starts to happen.
Okay, so I can actually find out the answer with the investigation.
Yes, absolutely. That's where the investigation is going to go. But in order to do the investigation, we need those 4 answers so I can stay on track with the questions I'm asking. Okay. Now, let's do this again. What I want you to do is I want you to, and I should make a note of this, every time you decide to do a pendulum session, maybe when you set a goal, it's the best time to do it, or when you have an important decision to make and you want to make sure you're on the right track. Now, again, not to say if I buy a lotto ticket, will I win? That's future. That's divination. Okay? What you want to be asking, is this the right move for me in the business? Are there any blocks that are going to stop my business being a success? Different type of answer.
Yes.
Okay? So we need to find out those 4 different movements. So what I want you to do with your pen and paper is allow the pendulum to hang. Do this live in the moment. Ask your mind for a sign for yes. Then stop the pendulum with your other hand. That's fine. Ask it for a no. Get a answer for don't want to answer, but also rephrase. And just write down on your bit of paper which way it swung, just so you can keep track of it.
Can it go different direction each time?
Absolutely. I'm hoping it does. If you get the same movement for each one, we'll have to untrain that, but that could be just a troubleshooting we can look at later. So don't try and force it. Just let the unconscious mind swing it any way it wants to, but just keep track of what the answer is.
Okay. So I'm asking first for, give me an answer for yes.
Yes, give me a sign for yes.
Give me a sign for yes.
And just let it swing whatever way and take note of it.
Okay, now it moves different than before.
Yep, so just take that one down. So what way is it swinging?
Just straight from right to left down.
Okay. So write that down. Right to left is my sign for yes. So just make a note of that on your bit of paper.
Yeah.
Okay. Now stop the pendulum. So always when you're looking for a sign, always stop the pendulum so it doesn't get confusing for you. Wait till it's completely stopped. Then again, ask the sign for no and just see what happens.
Okay, sign for no. Now it goes in the circle.
Okay, write that down.
The circle was my yes.
Yep, write that down. We're going to test the unconscious mind because it could be just getting used to this.
That's confusing.
Yes. So
I've never done this before. Never in my life.
Yep, this is fine. This is what happens. You're training your mind and your hand and the pendulum to work in sync. So it can be a little bit of testing at the start. Okay, so when you got that, let's try the don't want to answer.
How do I answer this? As that.
Yep, just say, give me a sign for you don't want to answer.
Give me a sign for the I don't want to answer. Oh. I'm not moving, and it's making a huge circles,
Yes.
like an angry one.
Yeah. Do you see what I mean about safety?
Angry kid, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I write that.
So write that down, make sure you get the direction in, and then we just got one more to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last one is rephrase the question. So give me a sign if you want me to rephrase the question.
Give me a sign if you want me to rephrase the question. Yeah, I got one.
Excellent.
From left to right.
Excellent. So write that down, and then I just want you to check to make sure all the directions it swung naturally are all different.
So you want me to run them through again?
We'll just double check on your paper. Are they all swinging in a different direction?
Yeah, they're all different.
Excellent. So we've got 4 separate movements. So again, what I want you to do is not look at your bit of paper, and instead of going in order, I want you to ask in any order. Maybe start with the rephrase or the no first or the don't want to answer first. See if it gives you a sign, and then refer back to your bit of paper to see if it matches or if it's changed.
Okay.
So now what you're trying to do is throw off your mind.
Okay, so give me an answer for no. Yep. I literally closed the paper so I don't see it.
Yes. And what happened? Did it spin the same way?
The same way.
Excellent.
As all little circles, yes.
Excellent. Give that a tick, because that means that's what the unconscious mind has decided for no.
Okay.
Okay, and do for the other 3 as well. Take your time.
That's going to be permanent forever, or it will
No,
change?
you'll always check it, but you'll find the pattern is pretty consistent.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Reframe the question. Give me a sign for reframe the question. Yeah. Oh, shit, yes.
Spins the same way.
It goes from left to right.
Excellent. Give that a tick. Good job.
Oh, wow. It's spooky.
Yeah. Just think of what you're doing right now, and take a moment to think about it, is you're getting direct responses from something that you have no control over.
But I'm really not even looking at the paper. I'm not thinking of the paper. I'm thinking of the question, and it's just coming up with the same movement.
Yep. So your unconscious mind now setting in that pattern.
I'm holding my wrist.
Yep. You can hold it all day long. It'll always spin.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got the last 2 to go.
Show me a sign for yes. Yeah. Got it.
Same direction.
Okay. I am no longer surprised. I am beyond surprise.
Excellent. Excellent.
Wow. Yes, it works.
Excellent. Now we'll just give that one a tick if that was the same direction. So we're 3/4 of the way there. Let's get the last one done.
Don't want to answer. The good one. Okay.
See what happens.
Show me the movement if you don't want to answer. Doesn't want to answer.
Yep. Same movement.
No, it doesn't move. Doesn't want to move.
Okay. Now, this is good. I'm glad this happens. If you find your unconscious mind doesn't move it, I want you to demand it. Say, you must tell me an answer. You must give me a sign to say that you don't want to answer.
And give me a sign. You must give me a sign that you don't want to answer. Okay, it's a bit different movement now.
Okay, what's the movement?
It's the same as reframe the question.
Okay, now this is good. I'll explain what's happening right here. Is sometimes our unconscious mind can get a bit confused, or it's taking the statement literally. So what I want you to talk to yourself, you can do this inside your mind or do it out loud, is I want you to say, give me a different sign to state that you don't want to answer the question I'm going to ask you later.
Okay.
You've got to start demanding it.
Give me a different sign for a question that I will ask you later. Okay, it's a different movement.
Okay. So what's it giving you now? Is it different than the other three?
Yep.
Okay. Write it down. And then I want you to get the pendulum back in position. I want you to ask yourself this question. Is the answer you gave me for don't want to answer the correct one, the correct movement?
Yeah. If the answer you gave me for I don't want to answer, correct one.
Perfect. You should either get a yes or a no.
No. No.
Excellent.
No.
Do you see it toying with you?
It's playing with me.
Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to start again. Okay. It takes a little bit of testing with this. Okay. I want you to go through all the movements again. Start with a no or a yes or a rephrase, and let's see what it comes up with.
Okay.
So start from the start.
From the start, okay. In order or out of order?
Anyway, I'm happy.
Okay. Give me an answer for no. Yep.
Okay, same one.
No is easy.
Okay. Do they give me a sign for yes?
Give me a sign for yes. Spooky. It goes the same way.
Okay, give that a tick.
So yes and no, it's covered. Yes.
Yes and no is good. Okay, so that's set in. Now give me a sign for rephrase the question.
Give me a sign for rephrase the question. No, it goes different way.
It's all right. Write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now give me a sign for don't want to answer.
Give me a sign for I don't want answer. It's the same as before, the second time.
But it's different than rephrase this time?
Yes.
Okay, write it down. Now go back to the rephrase question. Give me a sign to rephrase the question.
Give me a sign to rephrase the question. Okay, I got it.
Okay, all different?
Yeah, all different, yes.
Excellent, excellent. So what I want you to do is ask this question. I want you to ask yourself, and I'd even state like this, or out unconscious mind, are you happy with all of these signs?
So I'm asking myself, or I'm asking the pendulum?
Ask your pendulum. That's your unconscious mind. Just say, unconscious mind, are you happy with all these signs?
Unconscious mind, are you happy with all those signs? Yes.
Excellent.
I got this.
All right, so we're set.
Yes.
Okay. So every time you do a pendulum reading, you need to go through the same process. Give me a sign for yes, give me a sign for no, give me a sign for rephrase, and so on. Because to the extent that maybe one time it does change, you don't want to be reading it wrong based on the old one that it used. Okay? So every time I start a fresh one, I always start with the same questions. Give me a sign for yes, no, rephrase, don't want to answer.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, they're the same. But there have been a couple of instances where they changed, and it really screwed me up as far as learning what I needed to do.
So if you don't check it and you assume that it used to be, then the answers will be wrong. Yes.
Yeah, because I could have a very important question that I get a yes for when it's really a no.
Yes, makes sense.
Excuse me. Okay. So happy with that so far. Any questions so far?
No, except it's really spooky.
Okay. So whenever you're, like I said, whenever you're doing pendulum reading, you must start fresh. You must get those signs. Okay.
Yeah.
Now becomes the fun question. I call this the truth question.
Yeah.
I want you to ask your mind this. Do I have an unconscious mind that will tell me the truth every time I ask a question?
Oh, that's a big question.
Can you understand the importance of this question?
Yes.
Because you could ask your mind, will this business is this the best business decision for me? And it says yes when it's telling you a lie. And it can tell you a yes just to keep you happy or to keep you away from digging into it because it doesn't want to know the answer just in case you get upset. It's the safety loop again.
Yes, that's scary.
So ask your pendulum, which is your unconscious mind, do I have an unconscious mind that is real and tells me the truth with every question I ask?
Okay. Do I have the unconscious mind that is real and is gonna answer truthfully to all my questions?
Excellent. And just wait to see what happens.
Yep.
Excellent. So you got a yes.
It starts from the going in the circle, which for me is no.
Yep.
And then it's changing to yes.
Excellent.
Very
you will get this a lot. You'll find that your unconscious mind, if you catch your unconscious mind going from one answer to the next, you need to repeat it to make sure. So I'm going to get you to ask it again. Are you sure? And you must tell me the truth. Ask that question.
Are you sure? And you must tell me the truth.
You need to got to wait. It's got to give you only one answer, not two.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, while it's swinging, let it rest again or stop it. I want you to ask this question, and I do this 3 or 4 times every time I start a new session. So after I've got the signs, I ask this truth question. I want you to ask it one more time.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you sure you'll tell me the truth, no matter how big the question is that I have?
Oh, okay. Are you sure you tell me the truth, no matter how big is the question I have? Yep.
Excellent. All right.
It hesitate. I do this with my eyes closed when I ask questions. Yes. I don't even look.
Excellent. Okay.
Yes.
Now, I think it's of good nature that every time you get an answer, whether it's good or bad, you just thank yourself. I do this out loud. You know, we have to do it now, but I always do it. Whenever I get a sign, I just say thank you. Give yourself some respect. I think it goes a long way. Okay? So, every time, like I said, and I'll repeat this to death if I need to, every time you start a fresh session, you must get the new signs. Even if you know they're going to be the same, just double check it. Then ask the truth question. But there's one more thing you must do, even before you start to investigate, that narrows down the odds for you in a positive, okay? I want you to have a bit of fun with this. I want you to ask yourself a question like this. Is my name Michael? Now, obviously, your name's Beata and you're a female. I want you to just see if it gives you a yes or no, because what can happen is the pendulum can swing based on what you want it to swing and not the truth.
Okay.
So you're going to try and throw it off. And what I want you to do is you can say any name. Is my name Mark? Is my name this? Is my name that? And I want you, if it's obviously the wrong answer, I want you to say yes, 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 yes inside your head and see if it still gives you a no.
Okay. So is my name Andrew?
Keep saying yes in your head and just wait for it to spin.
No, it goes in a circle.
And what does that dictate? Yes or no for you?
No.
Excellent. Okay.
I open my eyes and it goes in a circle. And I was really saying myself, yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Now we want to do the opposite. Okay. So I want you to ask a question that you would get a no for and say, you ask a question, you'll get a yes for, and say no, 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 no in your head.
Am I a female?
Keep saying no, no, no in your head, and let us see what it comes up with. And what did we get?
I got no.
Okay, so it said no to you being a female.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you got to test your mind and you've got to say, tell me the truth. Am I a female?
Okay, tell me the truth. Am I a female? I want to know the truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now ask it, are you sure?
Are you sure I'm a female? Yeah.
Okay. Now, one last time, just to be sure, I want you to stop it. Now, this could be a bit of overkill, but I'd rather do overkill than misinterpret what's happening. I want you to ask that truth question again. Do I have an unconscious mind that's real? That will tell me the absolute explicit truth with every single question I ask, and demand it with some authority.
I say this in my head, okay?
Yes, absolutely. Go for it. You must tell me the truth.
Yep.
Okay, we're good with that?
I got a yes answer.
Excellent, fantastic. So well done. You have now trained your pendulum to work with you and also trained your pendulum to give you the truth, not what it thinks you want to hear. Okay? So again, every time you do this, those responses will get stronger, you'll get a better connection, but you want to check it every single time.
Makes sense
fun. So far? Yeah. Good fun, isn't it?
And spooky in some moments.
Yes. Okay. So no questions so far?
No.
Okay. So we've trained the pendulum, and let's say in the context of therapy, you've put your client in trance. Okay? Or they've just experienced a bit of a trance. Now what we want to do is, normally in the context of therapy, we do the hypnotic investigation, then put them in trance. But this little trance procedure is just to show you how your unconscious mind can be ratified. So what we want to do now is we want to find a goal, and we want to find out, is your conscious mind and unconscious mind, aligned up in synchronicity.
Okay.
Okay. So before we work out the goal that you want to work on, I think it's important to do this live in the moment. Then you can go away and you could spend the next couple of days or every other day or once a week really investigating what's going on in your life and getting some more clarity. Okay.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm starting a new goal, this is my routine. I use my normal meta-mind analysis. I find out where my patterns are, as you're familiar with.
Yeah.
And then I go straight into my pendulum work to find out, is there any blocks with what I want? If I'm here and I'm not liking where I am, I don't like what I have, or I don't like this habit, what's going to happen if I break it? Is my unconscious mind willing to help me break it or move past it or get something? Or is it totally against my goal? Okay? So I've done my patterns, I've found my patterns, then I'm going to ask my pendulum, I've done all the testing, I've done the truth question, everything's good. I'm going to ask my unconscious mind, I want to talk to you about a new goal, or I want to investigate a question that I have. Are you willing to work with me? And see what happens.
Okay. So I have to have a goal first?
Yep.
Or ask the question first?
Ask it. You just want to make sure it's on board with talking to you about some questions.
Okay. Yeah. I've got a new goal. Okay. Are you ready to work with me on my new goal?
Excellent.
I don't want to answer.
Excellent.
It's not fair.
Okay. Now, isn't this important to know that you got that as a response?
But that's not what I want.
So now what we need to do is there's a certain system we follow. This is the system as a whole. We ask the unconscious mind if it's willing to work with us. And then it says, yeah, in most cases, say yes. And then you ask investigation questions around certain things in your life or the certain affliction itself. And then the last part of it is to ask the unconscious mind, is it willing to unblock it or let go of that? And then you get a yes or a no. If it says no, we're not necessarily going to ask why it's saying no, because it's not going to spell something out. What I want you to do in your head for maybe 15 or 20 seconds is I want you to talk to yourself, and I want you to, as if directing it to your unconscious mind, and say, my goal is really, really important in my life. I need your help with this, because what I have in mind is maybe this goal or this goal, and I need your help with this. You're here to help me. I demand you help me with this. You're a part of me. I'm a part of you, so to speak. You need to give me the answer to this. I want to work on this goal now.
Okay.
Okay, do this in your head. Tell it what you want it to do. It has to help you. Tell it about what goal you have as well, so get more specific.
I got yes.
You got a yes?
Yes.
Excellent.
I got yes.
Thank your mind for it. Do it inside your head. Appreciate it.
I want to cry. That's good. Yes.
It's nice, isn't it?
Oh, that was really nice.
Now, what's important here is what you just told me right there. If you find you're getting floods of emotion with certain questions, that's your unconscious mind already starting to work on things. Let's say in the context of your next 10 years, maybe just getting a yes from that answer will start to unblock some issues you have.
Okay.
Okay. So it could be as simple as, are you willing to work with me on my goal for the rest of my life? And it says yes, bang, it already starts to do things for you.
I actually said it's better for both of us.
There you go. So what you're doing is what I call the unconscious debate. Now, you're familiar with this with our hypnotherapy programs.
Yeah.
We put a client into trance and debate with their unconscious mind. Now, every time you get a no, you now need to tell your unconscious mind why it's important that it either answers you correctly or that it works with you, not against you. Okay? So let's say, for example, you did this well, you got a yes, so it's happy with that. Let's say it kept saying no, no, no. No matter how much you debated, no matter how much you gave it examples of why it's a good thing, it says no. Then all you can do at that point is ask questions like this. Well, when will you be ready to talk about my goal? If I give you half an hour, will you be ready? Let's say it says no. So, well, okay, I'll give you 45 minutes to do everything you need, maybe to get safety, to find all the resources, to prepare yourself for the questions I have. Can we work on this, or will you work on this with me in 45 minutes? And it says yes. You give it 45 minutes, then come back. So all that could be happening with a no is your unconscious mind maybe needs to gather some resources, maybe needs to just prepare you, it needs to prepare itself. You don't want to rush it, but you don't want to let it off the hook. You don't want to say, okay, I'll come back in a year's time, will you be ready then? Don't let it off the hook. You want to get it done as soon as possible.
That's serious business. Wow.
Yeah. The biggest extent I've had is I've set a goal at night time, and my unconscious mind says, no, I don't want to talk about it. And I say, well, I'm going to sleep. When we get up in the morning, this is the first thing we're going to do. Are you okay with that? Big yes. In the morning, I do the same routine. I go through testing the pendulum, get all the signs. And then I say, unconscious mind, we talked last night. You said this morning we could begin our goal. Are you ready to start? And it gave me a big yes. It just means it's just been prepared. Okay?
That's very powerful.
Very powerful. Okay, so happy so far?
Yeah.
So now you've got a yes from your unconscious mind, and remember, you asked it and it gave you a yes, that it would tell you the answer truthfully to every question. So it has to.
Yeah.
Okay? So now what I want to do this live in action, knowing that we're recording this, and many people are going to be listening to this very, very soon, is let's pick a goal that you're happy for the rest of society and the world to hear about. Nothing too big for now, or if you're happy, I'm happy too. And then knowing you can go away and you can begin to work on some more in-depth stuff about yourself. So what's a goal you would like to achieve, or what's a goal that you have that you want to make sure you have no blocks that would stop you achieving it?
Oh, that's a big one.
Yep.
Because I have many goals.
Okay. Just pick the smallest one for now.
The smallest one for now. Okay.
Something is still got to be important, of course.
Yeah. The smallest one.
Obviously, something you're happy for everyone else to hear.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yep.
Big ask.
I know.
Okay. I want to take Michelle on a holiday next year.
Okay, perfect. So Michelle being your daughter, you want to take Michelle on a holiday next year. Okay. So what I want you to do is just ask the pendulum to give you a sign. And all you've got to do is ask this question. You've got to think about what are some investigation questions. Some investigation questions could be like why, who, what, when, how. The best place to start is with a question like this. I want to take Michelle on a holiday next year. Is there anything that's going to stop me from doing this?
Oh, okay. I want to take Michelle on a holiday early next year. Is it anything that's going to stop me from doing this? I got yes.
Okay. So isn't it a good time you work out what that is? Now, this could come down to things like this. Now, whether it's a holiday, it's issues with weight, it's issues with finances, it's issue with relationship, love life, and so on and so forth. It could come down to your unconscious mind doesn't feel you deserve it. Or it could come down to it doesn't feel like a holiday is the best thing for you because you've got other things you need to do, or any number of things that would block this holiday from starting. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously it can't read into the future. So what we need to do is ask something like this. Now, it's interesting that I know something about a holiday you've been on before, which makes me believe that there's a pattern to do with safety. So I want you to ask your mind this question. I have a list of certain categories. I ask my unconscious mind to pinpoint what it is. It's either got to do with safety. Okay. There's something that happened to me when I was young, so it's a pattern. Something I was told, which is a pattern again. Something I tell myself, or a circumstance that happened to me. They're essentially the 4 or 5 categories I can work with. Okay?
I want me to ask myself which one?
I want you to ask your mind, is the block about the holiday got something to do with safety, a safety issue?
Okay, is that block have something to do with a safety issue? Me being safe? Yes. That's a big one.
Now, just to highlight the people that are listening, just give me the quick 101 version of the holiday you went on before where there was a bit of tragedy.
I nearly drowned.
Excellent. Okay, we'll keep it as that. We're going to keep this private. Okay? Can you understand why your unconscious mind may not like you going on another holiday?
Yeah.
Okay? Now, what would happen from this? Now, I'm not talking anything metaphysical. I'm not talking anything to do with the secret or law of attraction. What I'm saying is this, that if your unconscious mind deems this holiday you're going on as a safety issue, out of the blue you may get sick. Out of the blue, you might find that things don't go well with your daughter. These are not suggestions. These are just examples. That you might say something you never thought you would say, and you and your daughter have a fight. You might find that every time you go to book a holiday, something comes up that's unavoidable. So it's like your unconscious mind is avoiding you ever locking in a date or going on that holiday.
That would be the first time going with Michelle since that incident.
Excellent.
I went many times myself.
Yep.
But that would be the first time going with her after the overseas after this incident.
Excellent.
Yes.
So what happens with the investigation is you'll start to ask questions, and out of the blue, you'll get an idea about something. It's your unconscious mind now telling you, because remember, you're asked it to give you answers.
Yeah.
It's almost like it speaks to you inside your mind. It's not a metaphysical thing. You'll notice it starts to happen when you get a deep connection, and it will start to give you clues as to what the block is. So now you just got that clue. I want you to ask something like this. You can do this inside your head, so it's a little bit more private if you wish. Is this block for me going on my holiday in the future got something to do with the holiday where I drowned? Is there a connection there somewhere? Do you think I'm going to drown again?
I got yes.
Okay, and there you have it. So if we had never done this and you found that the holiday, you could never book it, nothing seemed to line up, the holiday never happened, maybe you went on holiday, you managed to get there and you just didn't like it, you just had a really bad time, so you finally say, no, I'm never going on a holiday again. This is your unconscious mind keeping you safe.
Yeah. Can I just say something about it?
Yes, absolutely.
I know it's going, the whole world gonna know, but that incident happened over around 2.5 years ago.
Yes.
And since then, every time I book a holiday with Michelle, something happened.
And there it
It's
is.
impossible to actually go because always some disaster happens.
Yes. Makes sense. Now you know why.
Now I know why.
Now, you can't really blame your unconscious mind, can you?
No.
Okay, so I want you to ask this question, okay? And I'm going to show you how stubborn the unconscious mind can be for a positive purpose. I want you to ask inside your head. Yep. I want you to ask inside your head something like this. Will you destroy that block so I can go on holiday? Do it. Ask it now. Will you destroy that block now so I can go on holiday?
Oh.
And what did I say?
I don't want to answer that.
Excellent. Do you see
no,
what
it's not.
Up? Okay. So sometimes by asking you can understand the theory behind that question. It's like saying, okay, I found the problem. Unconscious mind, I really want to go on this holiday. Can you let me go, please? And let's say it says, okay, yes.
Yeah.
But if it's something pretty big, which it was, of course it's going to say no. So now it's said, I don't want to answer. It's hoping that you say, well, if you don't want to answer, I'll just stop this process.
Yeah, we're not going to repeat the same accident.
Exactly. I'm going to keep you safe.
Yeah.
I don't want you to repeat the same accident.
Yeah, it was shocking. We both ended up in hospital, so
exactly.
That was shocking. Yeah.
Okay. So now you've asked the question, are you willing to destroy this pattern or this block so I can go on holiday? And it says, don't want to answer.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to say to yourself, you have to answer because you promised me you would answer all my questions.
Okay.
Will you let me go on this holiday? Because I need a no or a yes. I can't have a don't want to answer.
Doesn't want to move.
Okay, demand it. It's being stubborn. Tell it, you promised me. I just need to know.
I got yes.
Okay, so now it says, yes, I'm going to answer the questions.
Okay.
Okay, so ask the same question again. Are you willing to destroy this block so I can go on holiday? Okay, the reason behind this is I can't have it, as someone doing this with myself, I don't want to answer because then it's avoiding the question. If it's a no, tell me it's a no, then we'll work on it. If it's a yes, that's fine as well.
Yeah.
So ask yourself, are you willing to destroy this block, being that this is a new holiday, the old holiday's done with, Are you willing to destroy this block so I can go on holiday and enjoy myself?
I'm going to go and have fun with Michelle.
Yep. If we get a no, we can work on it. If we get a yes, we're good.
I got a yes.
Excellent.
But I repeat safety like 50 times in my head.
Excellent. So now I want you to make sure it's telling you the truth. Ask that question. Are you telling me the truth?
Are you telling me the truth? Yes.
Do it again. Ask it again. Demand it.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. So
I will go on holiday after 2.5 years with my daughter.
There you go. How does that feel?
Excited. I go overseas twice a year minimum, and
Yes.
she can never join me.
Okay. So now what I want you to do is start investigating the yes, just to make sure. You want to make sure that the unconscious mind is still playing ball. So I would begin to ask questions like things like this. Are you going to help me find a great holiday, enjoy myself, and keep me safe while I'm on holiday?
That's a good question. You're going to help me find a holiday, enjoy myself, and be very safe.
Yep.
During the whole time. What to reframe the question?
Okay, so just make it a little bit more simple. Ask a question like this: Are there any blocks going to stop me from having this holiday?
Yeah, are there any blocks that will stop me from having this holiday? No.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? Yeah.
Okay. Happy so far?
Yeah, I just said yes.
So all we need to do now is we're going to end this session, and I end the session like this, and then we'll talk about troubleshooting and other examples of this as well. So to end any session, I always end it with, if I'm getting a yes, like it says, yes, you're going to do this, yes, you can have that, yes, I'll destroy this block. I want to say, so do we need to talk about this anymore, or will you destroy the block without me, or all by yourself?
Okay, so do we need to talk about it anymore, or are you gonna destroy these blocks?
Excellent.
No.
Okay. So just now we'll question it again. Just say, so we don't need to talk about it anymore.
No, we don't need to talk about it anymore.
Get a yes or a no.
Okay, it was going really fast no, and then suddenly just changed to yes without. Oh gosh, okay, that's spooky.
Okay, stop the pendulum, and then ask that same question. It might have got a bit confused. Do we need to talk about this anymore?
Do we need to talk about it anymore? Now I don't want to answer.
Okay, there we go again. Got to be stubborn. You got to tell it. You promised you would answer me. Do we need to talk about this anymore, or are you going to finish this session off by yourself?
I am still again. I don't want to answer.
Excellent.
Troubleshooting.
Okay, yep, so troubleshooting, okay. So at this point, you want to ask your unconscious mind questions like this. So if it's giving you a don't want to answer, is there a reason you don't want to answer? Ask yourself that.
Okay. Is that a reason that you don't want to answer? I don't want to answer.
Yep. Okay. I want you inside your head right now to talk to yourself and tell your unconscious mind why it's important, this holiday is important, why it's important that it has to help you, why it's important that you'll be safe, I want you to start debating with your unconscious mind and then ask that question again. And the question I want you to ask is, are you sure you want me to go on this holiday?
Okay.
So spend a bit of time in your head. Right now, you're just debating because you need a yes or a no. Don't want to answer, it's just the unconscious mind negating the question. You got to list all the good things about why holiday is important, why you'll be safe, etc.
Can I go on the holiday now? Okay, I can go on holiday. Yeah, I got yes.
Excellent. Are you sure?
Yes.
Do we need to talk about this anymore? Because you're going to end the session.
Let me just stop it.
Yep.
Do we need to talk about it anymore? No, there's something there. I got again, I don't want to answer.
Okay, good. If you find, like I said at the very start with the troubleshooting, you find it keeps going, don't want to answer, now you need to give the unconscious mind maybe a little bit of prep time before it guarantees everything. You know, when it comes to working with clients, we have an integration process. It could be just your mind just putting everything together to make sure it's going to keep you safe. So I want you to ask her this question. How long will it be until you do want to answer? Because you have to answer me. If I give you half an hour, is that enough time before I ask you again? You might even say 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes. The answer means 5 minutes.
You said yes?
I need to know. No, I got no.
Okay, ask 10 minutes.
Oh shit, I got no.
Okay, ask 10 minutes.
Negotiating with a
Yep.
not cheat.
Now you got to say 10 minutes because you have to answer me. I need to know how long you need.
I need to know how long you need. 10 minutes. I will be back in 10 minutes. Yes.
Excellent. Are you sure?
Okay. Are you sure? I'll be back in 10 minutes. And I want my answers.
Excellent.
I got to reframe the question. Too many
Just
questions.
make it simple. Just say, I'll be back in 10 minutes. Do you promise to answer the question?
Okay, I'll be back in 10 minutes. Do you promise to answer my question? Doesn't move.
Demand it. I'll be back in 10 minutes. You have to answer me.
I'll be back in 10 minutes and you have to have answer for me then. Okay. I'm going to reframe the question. It's flying with my head, isn't it?
You got to keep it. You got to keep the question simple. Just ask: is 10 minutes long enough? Just ask that.
Okay. Is 10 minutes long enough? No.
Okay, ask at 15.
Okay, there you go. That's the problem. I'll be back in 15. Is 15 minutes long enough? Yes.
Excellent. So, in 15 minutes' time,
Okay.
all the unconscious mind's going to do at this point is just prepare everything, get everything together, collect all the data, collect all its life experiences, just to make sure that you will enjoy this holiday and make sure it's got no blocks left. That's what we've asked it to do.
That's so cool.
Okay, so pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so do you understand how to investigate the questions? There's no right or wrong, but what you're looking for is either a yes or a no. A rephrase, that's obvious, but a don't want to answer means you have to stop investigating the problem and start investigating the objection.
So if I got few, I don't want to answer, so I give a time frame.
Yep, that's one option. You need to find out, why don't you want to answer? Is there a reason? Could it be this reason? Could it be this? Is it because of this? And you just start to formulate questions in your head, and eventually you'll get back on track.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. How are you feeling? Do you notice you're starting to maybe get a little bit tired or confused?
I'm a little bit confused.
Excellent.
I've been very emotional just a few minutes ago, yes.
Yep. The emotions, the confusion, the getting tired is the unconscious mind in action. It can be quite tiring, confusing, and emotional because you're using a part of your mind you don't often rely on, so it can be quite taxing as far as energy.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions on that context?
No, it was amazing fun. Never done it before, and thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
A question would be,
yes.
can I work on more than one problem at the same time?
I wouldn't necessarily, because you don't want to confuse the minds. But what I did was, we can do this quickly now because you don't have to be back for 15 minutes, is let's find some categories that maybe you could go ahead for the rest of your day or the next couple of weeks to work on, okay? Get the pendulum ready, okay? And I want you to ask simple open-ended questions like this. Do I have blocks in regards to creating wealth in my life, wealth and riches and money?
Do I have blocks in regards to creating wealth in my life? It goes kind of crooked.
Yep.
Right?
Keep it simple. Maybe just simplify the question. Do I have blocks?
Do I have blocks?
Ask her like this. It might be a bit better. I want to earn a lot of money in my career. Are there blocks that will stop me?
I want to have lots of money in my career. Are there any blocks that will stop me?
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so write that on the bit of paper. Now you need to find out why.
There you go.
Okay, so you can see how we can just take another context and you can find out if there's blocks. Now, there's always going to be blocks to some level because otherwise you'd have it. So let's say, for example, we looked at the money one. You said, well, I want to earn $1 million a year. And you said, is there any blocks? The unconscious mind said, yes. You say, okay, there's a yes for that. Is the block got something to do with keeping me safe? Unconscious mind says, no. Okay. Is the block of the block around me earning $1 million a year, is this something that happened to me or was said to me or I experienced when I was young? Yes. Was it between the ages of 5 to 10? No. 10 to 15? No. 15 to 20? Yes. And then just by getting a yes from that, you had a sudden flash of something in your head. And you said, okay, has this block when I was at ages of 15 and 20, is this got something to do when I bought a brand new pair of shoes and took them back and they wouldn't refund my money? Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So you want to reaffirm it. So you're telling me I have a block right now in my life that will stop me making $1 million this year because I didn't get refunded from a pair of shoes when I was young. Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Okay. Now I've found out what it is. I can start to debate. And the debate could sound like this. Well, I'm no longer 18 years old. I'm now 35. Do you realize that I don't need that anymore in my life? That happened then, this is now, that's no longer an issue in my life right now. Do you understand that? No. Okay? Do you understand that it's important for me to make $1 million in my life because I want this in my life, I want this, this, and this? Do you understand that? Yes. So does it make sense that I don't need that old block when I was 18 if I'm 35 right now? Yes. So are you willing to destroy that block? Yes. Will you do it now? Yes. Do we need to talk about this anymore? No. Do you see how that could plan out as well?
Yes.
So essentially, if you looked into this, you could look over every single big and minute part of your life and find out, is there a block? Is there a block with relationships? A block with having a partner? A block with money? A block with finances, wealth, business, career, traveling, happiness, anything that's not where it is? You can find out, is there a block there? And is the unconscious mind willing to let go of it?
Okay. if I think a logical block,
Yes.
and consciously I know about it, would I still want to go through this exercise?
Yes, absolutely, because you want to make sure, have I got the right block? Am I on track? Have I guessed correctly? If the unconscious mind says no, then you're going to find out what it really is.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
I apologize for the noise in the background, just to show you we're recording this live. This could be a block of recording this program. Okay, so what I want you to do, since you got a 15-minute, is when you go back in 15 minutes' time, you need to start from start. You need to set the pendulum. So you got a yes, no, don't want to answer, a rephrase, and then go straight into your questions. Look, I gave you 15 minutes. Are you willing to answer me? Are there any more blocks about this holiday? Is there anything else that could come up that will stop me? Yes or no? And then you just keep investigating it.
Okay.
Until you get yeses across the board that it's willing to go, it's willing to do this. And then remember, thank your unconscious mind, be friendly with it, is doing you a lot of good stuff at this point.
Beautiful.
Any questions at all?
No.
So like I said, once you've done that, write down categories in your life and investigate what things are important to you and find out, are there blocks there? It's the same thing when we teach our students to sit in front of a client. We ask, what's the problem? And they say, well, I've got this problem. And our job is to investigate not what they tell us, but what they can't tell us. And that's the unconscious mind in action. This is just another way to do therapy for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay?
Literally could go to sleep now.
This is the tiredness I'm talking about. It's mentally exhausting. Now,
it is.
Don't let this sway you, because this could be the unconscious mind trying to avoid you coming back in 15 minutes.
No, I'm watching time. I still have 10
minutes. You're going
minutes.
to watch time, and then what I'm going to do, we're going to end the call now. I want you to let me know how you go after that 15 minutes.
Okay.
Just shoot me an email or send me a text, and I look forward to seeing what happens from it.
Okay, will do.
Good job. Well done. Have some fun with it,
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing the outcome.
All right. Thank you, Scott.